You ordered your lunch yet, Sean? Where we going? You're not going. You're going,
I'd
eh?
like to move
Chips you
to
under the fish.
resume standing orders. Moved by Councillor Longmire, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now we're moving on to 10.1.
Can't find the
Steve
menu.
Carmichael, our Director of Engineering Services.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Item 10.1 is there for council's notation, and I'll take any questions on it. Just to report on our works program during the month of October.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor Meagle. Any questions or comments, councillors? Councillor Meagle.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a quick question. The state of whether Mr Carmichael has that delayed the works program to any significant degree?
It has, especially on Settlers Road, because I keep getting phone calls from the people out there in relation to their upgrade, which we're trying to get onto. They've now come to an agreement with over the drainage out there. I don't know whether people have ever been out to Settlers Road, but it's a very flat area. And when I first came here, we were given the impression that the landowner wouldn't allow us to drain any water into the property. We've since negotiated a deal, and only in the last couple of months we've actually got an agreement between the two of us now that we're going to run a drainage channel inside the property, and that will pick up all the cross drainage off the road. So that's ready to go, but the weather's pretty much on a 7-day cycle, so every time you get geared up to do something at the moment, we get a shower of rain, and it's just making it difficult for us. And that's likely to continue, according to the Weather Bureau, right through summer at the moment.
Could be a challenge there.
It could be.
Thank you.
Councillor Longmire.
Yeah, if I may, to Mr Carmichael, in regard to continuing audit signs and guideposts for upgrade, in the main street of Bordeaux, opposite the hotel, where the park has been superbly upgraded, and it's getting used like you couldn't believe. There's a lot of problems there with kids, especially going across the road, and cars being parked right at that area. The Whittletown Committee, I don't know if they've got in touch with you, but certainly if there are an opportunity for signs in the first instance to be able to, I think you can get signs that have kids with cars, or if you could put one of those, it'd actually draw some respect in the first instance, a simple thing which might work. And then down the track, as you upgrade that road, you might be able to put no parking signs, especially where that area is. And but work with the group out there once again, but it certainly is a concern at the moment.
Yeah, no, I take that on board. Like I said, when we're having smoko, we had a meeting out there the other day amongst ourselves just to work out how we're going to attack that road. And one of the things we're looking at doing is actually sealing the road across in front of the hotel there, get that car park in. But yeah, that little park, I actually sat there and had lunch the other day, or morning tea, actually it was.
Yeah.
Pub wasn't open, unfortunately. Well, it was even worse because it was a Monday and it doesn't open full stop. But anyway, we would have been there all day if we'd had to wait that long.
Well, you'll have to come back soon.
Yeah, no, take that on board, and maybe we can just have
Check the drain.
No, we'll have a look at it and take it on board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question. Well, while we're on signs, I'm still battling to find my way back to Urana coming when I leave Coro. Just wanted to flag that one. And I was just wondering if there's any good news refunding for the Daysdale SPs.
Not at this stage. We're still working through some issues there. So, yeah, hopefully I'll have a report to the new council sometime don't know whether we'll get it to December or...
Yeah.
Are we actually having a January meeting, or are we not having a January meeting?
Well, it'll be it's up for grabs in terms of when the election gets declared.
Yeah.
Because the postal voting goes a fair way past the election, and then if we don't get that 23rd in, we'll definitely have to have answers within 3 weeks. But then whether we have an ordinary January, we'll just have to, if there's a need for it, we can always have it,
Because otherwise you're going to have a council, and then if we don't have one till February, it's nearly the end of February and you're halfway through your construction season without...
Year's gone.
If we need some money for some bits and pieces, so... Yeah, all right.
Any further questions or comments, councillor? If not, I'll put it all in favour.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Item 10.2, Mr Mayor, is the report on the Capital Works program.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Longley, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. questions or comments, councillors?
Carry on.
Look, I'll put it. All in favour? Against, carried.
That's me.
Thanks very much, Steve. Okay, we've got 14.1, no correspondence, requiring council action. Local, in the the correspondence is the 14.1, that local government remuneration tribunal, Our Town Bulldale Incorporated, New South Wales Public Libraries Association and Country Mayors. Councillors, is there any items there that you'd like to make a comment on or have a question in relation to any of them? Because I'll just move them as a block.
Just a question, if I may. In the country mayor situation, I mean, I never actually had the chance, we weren't in it.
Yeah.
We're in it at the moment. How do you find it? Is it valuable or?
I found it was a real opportunity. Every meeting they'd have a minister from a different department there, so you could capitalise on, within your own council if you had issues with roads, fireys. It could be anything relevant to council business. You did get an opportunity to catch up with that minister directly, and probably the main thing that you need to do is, when you're attending, is if you can book a meeting with the minister as well, so that you can get more bang for your buck in relation to the council.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty much non-event because of COVID. No one prepared to travel to Sydney for it. Yeah, would you like to make a comment on that?
Yeah, it's a good point. It is fairly cheap to be a member. It might be 1,000, or it's not like it's the membership. It's not like what you pay to be an LG, New South Wales. But I noticed recently that LG New South Wales and Country Mayors have signed an MOU together, so they're trying not to duplicate. But as the Mayor had said, in those early days, they were getting a lot more traction with ministers and department heads being in Sydney. But we're one of the first to pull out of going up to Sydney, even though they're still having meetings. And now they've gone to a more online setting as well. So it's something where we'd always just watch. But yeah, as the Mayor said, unless you were going to do other meetings while you're up there, you wouldn't want to just travel up for that anymore. We sort of made that call ourselves, yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions or queries, councillors? I'll get a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Thomas and seconded by Councillor Law. All in favour? Against, carried.
Councillors, we just didn't have the delegates report heading on this month. We've changed to a new online software system, which our agenda management's much easier, certainly internally for us, and that'll benefit workload a lot more, but it didn't include the delegates, so if there was any delegates reports.
Just wait for that.
Okay, I'll just I'll run around the table. Actually, ladies before gentlemen, Councillor Thomas, would you like to report?
Yep. I had the opportunity last week to be able to jump online and attend the floodplain meeting, which is encompassing Howlong, Cora and Mawela. I'd just like to congratulate Citizen Appleyard. I think the people and the delegates that you have on that particular committee will be a strength for those communities. I could absolutely see what they're going to bring to the table will be a wealth of information and knowledge, which is really exciting. Just a couple of points about the scope for this particular floodplain investigation for those three towns. I do believe there's going to be some ground truthing completed. A lot of that ground truthing will come from our communities. I really think our communities need to have a clear understanding of the scope of the project, and there'll have to be some really clear definitions presented to our communities. Otherwise, they're going to get a little bit bamboozled. What's the difference between a rainfall event? What's the difference between a flood event which occurs across the landscape? I know that initially the consultants are going to capture all the comments from our communities, but then when you move beyond that, the definition part will actually play a very important role. Well done. As you would be aware, Federation Council are hosting a Murray-Darling Association AGM and general meeting at the Waterfront Pavilion in Urannah tomorrow. How exciting for Urannah. What a perfect opportunity to showcase not only the new pavilion, but also the lake being full, and also been an MDA meeting. I believe you've all got an invitation. If you can't come in person, I absolutely understand, but I really would encourage you, if you have a spare half an hour to an hour, jump online It will give you a great opportunity to get a clear understanding what the MDA stands for. There's also going to be observers in the room because we've opened it up to the public, which I think is really exciting because it actually gives transparency to the role to our community and what we can advocate for as a basin. The other point of call too is that the MDA, as you know, we're in the process of appointing a new CEO. That CEO has been announced and he will start on the 1st of December. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Councillor Neagle, you had.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just wanted to say that I had the privilege to attend the opening of the Red Gum Skin Clinic yesterday with yourself and the Deputy Mayor, and I think it's pertinent to just say a few words that it's not just a skin clinic for the sake of being a skin clinic. There's a fair bit of science behind it in that the skin is the largest organ in the body and therefore it demands a reasonable a level of expertise and attention, as was noted when the good doctor was looking at my skin. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that Federation and Council has one of the highest rates of melanoma in New South Wales. And so to have access to a facility that then on our own doorstep that can identify and then treat this condition, I think is invaluable. So congratulations to the doctors and the Coroner Medical Centre for having the courage and the foresight to put the facility up. I think it will be a great asset for our LGA and greater region, and I think that it is very worthwhile given the health situation of the LGA, and also that health, as we know, is one of the cornerstones of any community, and to have another asset to it is only going to benefit not only this town and this LGA but also the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Neagle. And you're right, it was certainly very refreshing to be part of that yesterday and see the opportunities there. Not only skin cancers, but could be birthmarks or scars, and it's got a big, broad range of skin treatments there. It was very exciting, and well done to Dr. Aon for that. Any further, Councillor Law?
Thank you. I've attended an Ageing Well meeting this month, and we're about to start our new strategy for the new council. We have fulfilled almost all of the points that we had in our last strategy. The only thing we're having a bit of a problem with is the PAMP, getting the footpaths in action. We don't seem to be getting too much satisfaction there, but the group are very dedicated and they're all very keen to go on again in the next term. And they're doing a great job. And if I'm not a councillor at their next meeting, I will be attending as an Ageing Well ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Law.
Are you aging well?
I am ageing.
And Councillor Law, haven't they been a successful committee in the Shire?
They have. They have.
They're right throughout the whole Shire, and like it was amazing. And to see the busloads come to their events is really, really good.
I must say too, we missed out on the grant for $2,500 for the Ageing Well that we were trying to get. So we're only looking at having one function next year for our Seniors Week, and we're still in the process of organising that because the funds are a little short.
Okay. Councillor Wales.
No delegates to report, Mr Mayor, but I went to Remembrance Day here at Coro and I was in the crowd when they called for Shire representatives, so I quickly made my way down and laid a wreath on behalf of councillors.
Excellent, thanks, Councillor Wales. That's great. Any further?
No, Councillor Longley was going to talk about the How Long Progress meeting, were you, Councillor Longley?
He's frozen still.
You thought out?
No, not yet. What do I say?
I was there.
You were there.
I was giving you the opportunity, Councillor.
Yeah.
We did, the Mayor, myself, Councillor Wales was also there, and Councillor Long with the How Long, well, I guess it's their new committee that have gone out and had a couple of meetings now as a standalone venture within the How Long Township. They had probably another 70 or 80 people at the meeting, which was similar to what they had at the first meeting, and they've got a lot of good ideas and a lot of people that have got a lot of energy at the moment to try and lift the township of Howlong and their presence both in the town and within the region. But they're also liaising with our staff here, with the North of the Murray campaign. Their vision is to have their own website and their own point of contact for Howlong that will also then link back to the North of the Murray page. And I think they're liaising now with Alana and Isla and those sort of people. So they're very keen, and it'll be just interesting to see what comes out of that committee and which way they go.
Yeah, it was, they had, Superintendent Paul Huggett.
Yeah.
At the meeting, he's in charge of the Rivers Police.
Correct.
That'd be correct.
Yep.
So the community had an opportunity to ask questions and find the best way through to report crime in the area. But I'd take my hat off. I was involved early in that committee, and just to see how it was a very respectful meeting from the committee, the chairperson, and it was great to see they brought their local councillor in for a comment to make sure that, if he had anything he wanted to add. So they've done a great job to get to where they were, and they had a good crowd of people, good following. So I think it'll be such a bonus for Howlong, and obviously they came up to the night. It'll be a good connection for council to that committee as well, in relation to correspondence or some of the things that they might feel they were lacking in the past.
Yep.
So it's great.
So I'll just make a comment now. I've got my thoughts together.
Yeah.
There's some great stuff coming out of there. They've got some arts and crafts sort of things happening. There's a talent quest happening, open to people as far away as Albury. Significant prize money being put up by the op shop. That's been on the agenda for a while in the new community hall. They've had success with, now I can't think of his name, Hugh
Waters.
So wanting to put a toilet in the cemetery. He's been over there, consulted with them. They've worked together on that project. He's very supportive of it. And then they've also come up with an Australia Day program. And he's supportive of that, and I think that's going to be, I believe it's going to be adopted by council somewhere down the road. But Hugh is getting great accolades in Howlong, and he's a credit to Federation Council.
Excellent. Any more delegates' reports? Councillor Wales.
Just like that, Mr. Mayor, I think it's a good idea that this police superintendent is in charge of the Murray River towns only, because he's more focused on the towns along the river only, not further up north or where you could get sidetracked for other towns. So having your own little pets towns all the way along the Murray, it's got to be a plus for the community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I just added to some of those other reports. I had a invitation out to Daysdale last Saturday, and that was to a school reunion of a school that was on the Kringle Road. It's been restored, so it's out in the paddock.
Is that not Doreen Vales Road at school, is it? No.
I think it might be.
Where Mrs. Summerfield, I went out there.
McCartney School.
Is that the one?
McCartney School?
Yeah,
I think that's right. That
Doreen.
But it's a mud brick school, and it's been
That's the one, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
easy brick.
and it looks fantastic.
Oh, it's good.
Absolutely fantastic.
I know
But they had a lot of ex-students, and they all got up and made comments and told of their naughty things that they did when they went to that school. But it was a great little day, and they had a good crowd. Yeah, but just to see it preserved in that mud brick, I know. I think council must have had some input into that with Mimi from yeah. So it looks great. It's worth a visit any time you're out in that area. I think it'll be a good tourist attraction.
Yeah.
What were you doing there, Mr. Mayor? What were you out there for?
I was invited to like a reunion.
Oh, school reunion.
Yeah. And they'd done a lot of new work out there, so that it was about celebrating that as well. Yeah, no, it was great. All right, if there's nothing further, did I get a move?
No, yeah.
I haven't. No. A move, would someone like to move by Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor Kennedy? All in favour? Against? Carried. And I now declare the meeting